Hello, everybody, and welcome to Row 60, a Georgia football podcast. My name is Clark Gaines. Joining me today, as always, Adam Thornton, and this is show number 25. Adam, we've hit the quarter-of-a-century mark with this episode.
Quarter-of-a-century mark, Clark. That is crazy. That's crazy. Can't believe we've already been 25 episodes deep. A lot of stuff we've covered in 25 episodes. A lot of exciting times, man. And it couldn't have been possible without our loyal listeners and our fans. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all's support. And it's been a great ride.
It has. It's been a great ride. And Adam, you know...
Don't say it, Clark.
Listen,
don't say it.
Well,
don't say it.
Here's the thing. All good things must come to an end.
They do. They do. That is true.
And, we've had a great run at this, 25 episodes. And I think this podcast, it's been a lot of fun. I think this podcast has really served its purpose. And that purpose was to...
We've already hit the mountaintop.
Yeah. To get to the mountaintop, to plant our flag and say we are national champions.
And we did it because of this podcast.
That's right. We are the result, or the reason.
Right. Of course.
So with that said, it's with very just heavy hearts that we announce that this is the last episode of Row 60. Season 1.
Yeah, that's right, Clark. Hey, we're not going anywhere. No. Look, I love to talk too much, so you know I'm not getting out from in front of a camera. When I get to talk about Georgia football and there's a camera in front of me, I'm going to do it. I'm going to ramble. So y'all have not got through with us yet, Clark.
Yeah, that's right.
We are still going to sit here and ramble and just appreciate y'all listening to us as long as y'all will.
Lord will.
So we're coming back, and we're going to be stronger than ever when we come back. We just got to get a game plan together.
Yeah.
We got to get together, Clark. We got a lot of ideas we've discussed, but we got to sit down. We got some other stuff.
Study some film.
Busy months coming up. Study some film. Kind of get where we want to be. A new set. We are retiring this set because every time you see this set is going to be incorporated with the national championship season.
That's
so
right.
we're going to come back strong with a new set and just get it cranked up for another round to start the repeat, baby.
Absolutely.
Woo!
We got a national championship to defend now.
That's right.
This
Clark.
podcast.
That's right. This podcast.
To defend the national
and we're not going to get complacent. That's the thing. We could easily get complacent over the summer, Clark.
Yeah.
We say, hey, we're national champions, man. We're doing this, we're doing that. And we can't we could get complacent where we're at and not elevate our game and not get better as a Row 60 podcast group and family. So we're not going to do that. We're going to take some time to train, to get better, and to come back stronger than ever. But yeah, we almost led the people on a little bit there saying we're retiring. But no, we ain't going nowhere. Good Lord willing, we're going to be back.
Yeah.
And stronger than ever with just ready to get back in a full season swing, normal material. Clark.
I'll tell you,
great.
Even if we one day decide to hang it up, which I don't think that would ever happen. But
Not
even if we did, hopefully, our future sons will take it over and they'll have just as much passion and energy as we do. So.
That's right. We're going to keep rolling as long as we can then. But that was a good little trick for the folks out there.
So, but yeah, this is the last episode of season 1 of Row 60. It's a good stopping point for us. On this episode, we're going to be talking about G-Day, which was a few weeks ago. Kind of old news at this point. We'll touch on that. Big historic NFL draft for the Dogs. Are you kidding me?
Man.
15 guys. That's 63. That's almost 63% of your starting roster.
That's
right
unheard
there,
of,
drafted.
Clark. That was huge, man. I got fired up like I was at a game on Thursday night watching it with big Trayvon Walker got picked. I yelled. I got excited, man. That is the biggest recruiting tool you could have. Just, it puts a staple on what this program means, what Kirby Smart and staff has built, what these guys are heading to the draft is doing. And thank the Lord, Clark. I was thinking, man, when I was watching the draft and all these dogs coming off the board, can you imagine sitting there watching them and then not getting a national championship with all that talent? But it felt so much better watching these guys come off the board, knowing that, hey, they gave their all for Georgia, and they got to this point and the national championship out of it, and just the recruiting pitch now that Kirby has. He was in the green room, Kirby was, and we'll get to all that talking about it, man. But wrapping up this season, Clark and I talked about how we're going to put a bow on that class, on the N'Kobe Deans, the Jordan Davises, the Trayvon Walkers, all these guys that won the national championship that left. It felt fitting to end this season with a draft recap. We originally thought about not even covering the draft, but that would have been crazy.
Yeah.
Would have been crazy, Clark. So we figured putting a bow on it on the 2021 Georgia team would be after this draft class, and then it'll be on to complete focus.
Yes.
Complete focus, Clark.
Yep.
For the 2022 Dogs, baby.
Oh, yeah. And then last but not least, we'll talk about the upcoming season. Big games, we've got a national championship to defend. So
That's right.
A lot of stuff in one episode. This is kind of
gonna be jam-packed, baby.
That's right.
I love it.
So
I love it, man. Hey, good football topics in May. You know, that's you can't get any better than that. Nobody
Absolutely.
wants to talk about baseball right now, even though Georgia baseball, they lost a heartbreaker today from the recording of this episode of LSU. And hey, they might have a chance, but nobody wants to talk about spring stuff.
Right.
We're still in fall sports mode, baby. Football.
Always.
It's always football season to us.
Let's go to G-Day. Let's go back in time a little bit. About 3-4 weeks ago. Golly, it's been a while.
Yep.
The atmosphere was awesome.
It was,
great shady day, overcast. You know, we thought it was going to rain us out, you know, but the good Lord picked a great day for Georgia football, and we were able to flood into the stadium and just enjoy another day of
It was a good
football.
time, Clark. You know, my wife, I'll be honest, God bless her, I love her to death, and she's a trooper in the fall, loves Georgia football games, loves going to them, but every year since we've been together, I've drug her to G-Day. And she hasn't bought into the hype and the anticipation of spring Georgia football like she does in Sanford Stadium on a October afternoon, Clark.
Right.
You know, and she asked, why do you want to go to these games, watch them play each other? It's in the middle of April. And I said, Kelsey, it's a chance to go back to Sanford Stadium and be with the family and just, hey, you know, you get it only from November to the next September. You know, you don't have any football.
Right.
You don't have any Sanford Stadium appearances. So it's just that one you get during that time and you got to take advantage of it, capitalize on it. Clark. So that's why I love G-Day. And this one was special because we got to sit in row 60. You normally don't get to do that, but how the athletic department arranged this particular spring game is you got to get online and reserve your seats. So we were able to get row 60 seats and be up there. And that was special, and it was just a good day overall. Like you said, a lot of talented guys on that football field, Clark.
Absolutely.
A lot of talent running around. The train ain't stopping anytime soon. Woo, man.
Adam, did you get any food? Give us a concession stand.
Boom, hit that jingle, Clark. Yes, I did. Always good to get back in Sanford Stadium. The one complaint I had on the concession team, Clark, there was no coffee.
What?
And it was a little bit of a blustery Saturday morning, Clark. If you recall, there was a little bit of a wind, a little slight northeastern breeze, I believe, that kind of, it kind of gave you a little bit of a chill. And, enough to wear a little bit of sleeves to the game, you know?
Wow. So
I was like, man, coffee would be good right now. Coming in Sanford Stadium, about to go to my seat. I want a cup of brew, just some black coffee like I like it. It was on the board for $5 there, and I pay $5 coffee for Sanford Stadium.
Absolutely.
Coffee. So I went to go to the concession stand to order my $5 coffee. They said we're not serving it today, and I was
ridiculous.
Like, come on,
Brooks.
Come on. So I got a water and I got a pack of peanut butter M&Ms. We ate Canes before the game, so if I recall, I wasn't in a popcorn mood at that point in time.
Sure.
But got some glazed almonds, Clark.
Yeah.
Have you ever had some glazed almonds from a college football state? Hey, county fairs, Dollywood, and Sanford Stadium, man. That's where in Disney World theme park. That's where you get glazed almonds, and they're great. They're great. So I got me a pack of glazed almonds and enjoyed it. So as always, they weren't in mid-season form, but they stepped up to the occasion one Saturday afternoon in April, and the Sanford Stadium concession stand team does what they do, and that's feed the people.
Feed the people.
That's feed the people.
That's right. I love it. Oh man, well I can't wait to get back to the actual concession stands. And
get some popcorn, get a hot dog.
Yeah. Coca-Cola Classic.
Coca-Cola Classic in a $10 souvenir cup, baby.
I tell you, Adam, there were a bunch of recruits. They actually took up the entire sideline, it looked like. But I tell you, and one other person made an appearance at G-Day, and it was Blooper Braves.
Blooper Brave, Clark, tell me how you feel about Blooper Brave making an appearance.
I may tick some people off.
All right.
I may tick some people off with this statement, but I am over Blooper Braves. Okay?
Yeah.
Because, look, the guy showed up for Charleston Southern game. And I like that.
Wait, is it a he or is it is it a mammal? What would we refer to as Blooper Brave?
Blooper Braves. I'm going to call him a Muppet.
A being. A creature.
A being.
A being. Okay. Yeah. A being. A being.
So anyway, this being, Blooper, made his first appearance in Sanford Stadium.
He did.
The Charleston Southern game last year. It
It was a good time. I mean, everybody was hyped about the Braves World Series at that point in time. The big diehard Braves fans out there. I'm not a diehard Braves fan, but the ones that were enjoying, and I respected that. We're in the middle of a title hunt. It's a family game against Charleston Southern, so I understand that. Yeah, but continue.
So all right, that was appearance number 1. Well, then we win the national championship. National championship celebration comes into Athens, and he's there again. You know, and that's cute, but it's not about Blooper Braves. I don't know if he was.
Oh, he was at the national championship.
He was.
Was he?
I don't know if he was there in support of Harry Dog.
Yeah, could have. You know, the mascot, brotherly love. There, I understand that.
I get it, but
I understand that.
But then he decides to show up for G-Day,
and I just wanted to see spring football. He was tired of the poor spring training baseball.
But then, not only does he show up, not only does he show up, but he leads the black team out on the field.
Did he really? I did not see that. No, he was on the team. He was on the field leading out.
Yeah, running with the flag.
No, he was not. I missed that completely.
Look, Sanford Stadium, Georgia football, it's all about Harry Dog as far as mascot.
Right.
I mean, look, Blooper's cute and all. He's got the little.
He's a funny guy. He looks like he's got bicycle horns on his ears. Is that not true? You know, the ones you squeeze the old fat. But I mean, he's a good guy. You know, he's got a good on him, makes everybody chuckle. I like him. The children like him. Everybody, all the God's people love Blooper Brave. The only problem I got with Blooper Brave, Clark, is I think when they created this being a few years ago, it was a ripoff of the Philly Fanatic, one of the Braves' biggest rivals. It would be, you know, I mean, honestly, they're just a different race.
Yeah.
The Philly Fanatic is green. Blooper Brave is tan. Ethnicity, a different ethnicity, culture, if you will. So, but I think down the line there's some relation there. Anyway, we're off the rails with this, but I agree. I agree. It's great and all. But
it's cute.
But it is cute. But leave them at not Turnerfield. What is it? The Truist part now. Yeah. R.I.P. Turnerfield, Midtown Atlanta. I mean,
those were good days.
It was. You just have to, you know, you would go to the game, come back, and maybe leave early in the 7th inning and come back and just hope your car had its back windshield still in peace. That's what you got there. But it was a great experience, man.
Oh, I just, you know, my thing, I just hope we don't see Blooper anymore.
I understand that. And I agree.
Because look, here's the thing, Adam, and you're the reason for this. Yeah. But I grew up as a Yankees fan.
Yeah.
I watched Jeter, Giambi, Jorge Posada, Mariano Rivera, A-Rod, all those boys back in the day. That was a great day of baseball too. Great era. But
steroid era.
Man, steroid era was great. But, you know, not everybody's a Braves fan that sits in Sanford Stadium. So enough with Blooper. I think it's time to move on.
Yeah. But they win the next World Series.
That's true.
Come on back.
Last thing about Blooper.
All right,
this is the last thing. I will say, though, it's starting to tick off the Georgia Tech fans, the Auburn fans,
all the
Alabama
SEC
fans.
Community that likes the Braves.
Right.
It makes sense.
Because Blooper is, you know, starting to hang out with Harry and everything. It's starting to tick them off. So I appreciate
if they're boys, then, you know, I understand. You know, but I get it.
Oh, boy.
All right. Yeah, that's a good observation from that day.
Yeah. All right, let's talk some X's and O's, and we're not going to go too in depth with this, just because, quite honestly, I don't really remember G-Day. I mean, it's a while ago.
Well, let's talk about it then, Clark. What do you want? What group you want to talk about? Let's talk about some ball. Let's talk about some ball. Let's give it the offense start. If I recall that day, Clark, and I've watched the replay of the Georgia spring game. That's when you got some issues is when you're watching replay of spring football games. Yeah. But that first drive, if I recall, old Stetson Bennett came out, led the black team down the field, hit Eric Gilbert, who, Clark, is kind of until that particular Saturday, Clark, because we can't get inside, so we didn't see no practices. We heard about him like a Sasquatch, like a Yeti, like a Loch Ness monster, like a mythical creature. Exactly. Yeah. That's kind of what we viewed him as, because we've heard the name, we've heard the stories, we've heard the legend, but we haven't seen it with our own two eyes, Clark. Yeah. Now, we did see this being. And he was a freak. He was a monster. He was a monster. So when Eric Gilbert got the ball, Clark, and crossed the middle, man, and Stetson hit him with that ball, and DB bounced off of him, and you're like, oh, my God, this guy's in the tight end room, hybrid wide receiver, and put him out in the slot. My gosh. Woo! And it seems like everything's good there. God bless him. He's been our thoughts and prayers. He looks like he's in a good spot right now, Clark. So great to have him. Playmaker, generational talent. Boom, baby.
Yes.
Love it.
I tell
Love
you,
it.
and speaking of tight ends, Adam, we have the best tight end room in America.
Yeah.
I think you could easily make the argument that it's the best in Georgia football history.
Oh, without a doubt.
Especially in America right now.
I think it's the best. It could potentially be, Clark, the best in college football history.
You think?
Oh, without a doubt.
I mean,
without a doubt, Clark. Brock Bowers didn't even play that day.
Yeah,
and Eric
true.
Gilbert was a stud. Oscar Delp, the early enrollee freshman, looked like a stud out there. Oh, yeah, and Darnell Washington didn't even play either.
Yeah,
He's a physical freak. So, I mean, you just got, two just stud future NFL tight ends that are on the sideline with probably two other future NFL tight ends getting all the snaps during the spring game.
Yeah.
Woo! And I mean, different things. They're talented in different areas, Clark. Darnell Washington, where he's going to get his money, where he's going to get rich, where we're going to see him being called out on a late April night is on the NFL draft is going to be because of his blocking. I truly think that. I don't think he's going to be a Travis Kelce,
I don't watch
tight ends.
NFL. That's a good one. Travis Kelce.
There's somebody else. Greg Kittle. Somebody, one of those guys. I don't think Darnell's going to be one of those guys. I think he's going to be one of them guys you could put beside your tackle right there and run the football with and get some good blocking with on the outside. So that's where he's going to get. But he's got good hands too, and he's going to make a difference. And Bowers is going to be the Gronk type. He's going to be a playmaker. And I think there is a place for all of them, Clark. And I think Todd Monken is going to have a lot of arsenals that he could choose from and a lot of ways to line them up. That's going to be defense coordinator's nightmare. Yeah. But they're probably losing sleep over it right now. Dan Lanning's not going to know how to defend them.
No.
That's just Saturday.
And this is a crazy thing about it. That's one position group.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
You've got your running backs. And we talked about this a lot, after G-Day was just Kenny McIntosh.
What a freak.
And his ability
I love
to catch the ball out of space.
Yes, and I think Kenny Mack, I also think he's going to be the best running back on the team next year. I think he will be. Yeah. Every year he seems like he puts in the work. He grows and he gets better and better, quicker and quicker. I think he will be the main guy. Of course, Kendall Milton's going to be in there being good. And, you got Branson Robinson coming in. He wasn't an early enrollee.
Dejon Edwards.
And they want Dejon Edwards.
I'm telling you, he's going to play this year. He's going to be a great option. This year.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. I mean, those guys are going to be really good, Kendall Milton. So, again, the legacy of talented running backs coming through the University of Georgia. Dale McGee, who's continued to just keeps doing a good job, will pump out another one, Clark. And Kenny McIntosh, yes, since the recording of this, after G-Day, did have a little bit of altercation, but we're not going to really mention that. I think it's going to be fine. I think it might be handled internally. I think he will be on the field against Oregon. My guess, I think so. But I think a guy who's going to be a playmaker this year, and one of the guys we look back is going to be a difference on a offense that I think could be historic for the University of Georgia.
Yeah. There's a lot of rumbling on the boards and just Facebook all over the place. This could potentially be the best Georgia football offense ever.
Without a doubt, Clark. Without a doubt. You look at guys, you look at everybody coming in that's going to be the receivers. A.D. Mitchell, big catch in the national championship game. Sophomore, got a year under his belt. The guy's going to be a playmaker. You get guys coming back like Kearis Jackson, who looked like his old self again in the spring game, a veteran guy. A guy, a very good possession receiver. Lad McConkey, who just does what Lad McConkey does, and that's make plays and catch the football. And getting Arian Smith back, Clark, speed burner, good vertical threat. I don't think I've ever seen a ball be overthrown by him. And that doesn't mean particularly it was just a perfect on a dime throw by the quarterback, but just he gets under it so good. He kicks an extra gear when that ball's in the air. Yeah. And if he could stay healthy, I mean, just the possibilities are endless because everybody was thinking with Jermaine Burton leaving, it caused a stir, and obviously he's a talented kid, but I don't think we have to go to the portal. And the recording of this was actually the last day you could enter to go into the portal. So from our knowledge right now, talking about this, there is nobody coming in at receiver. But do we need it, Clark?
No.
Do we need it with the guys out there? No. I mean, there's talented kids out there, and then you got guys coming in who are going to be really good. Is it C.J. Smith? I've drawn a blank. C.J. Smith? Is that his name? I've been a true freshman coming in. Yeah.
It's been a while. We're a little rusty.
I've lost my blank. What is it? C.J. Smith? That is right.
Yeah.
Yeah, C.J. Smith. I had it wrote down. I thought, but yes, I remember. Yes, guys like him coming in too is going to be, I think, make an impact at the beginning. And I'm excited, man. I'm really excited about this group. Just the talent, the skill group, the offensive line should be pretty good. Of course, a couple guys were drafted the other night off that line, but you got some guys coming back. Tate Ratledge will get a spot when he comes back. Broderick Jones is a freak. Cedric Van Pran, of course, center is huge to have a reliable guy at center, a guy that command quarterback the offensive line, so to speak. And, you got McClendon coming back, the tackle spots. And then you got Amarius Mims, Clark.
I know.
But there was some drama on him. I mean, he was good as gone down to Tallahassee, Florida the other week. We were saying, well, wish his man a generational talent. Probably we were thinking, well, we just couldn't crack the lineup. But lo and behold, somebody got in his ear, good re-recruiting by somebody, had a revelation, so to speak, Clark. And the revelation was that I need to stay at Georgia.
And be a first-round draft pick.
I think it was a good pick. So, hopefully Amarius can, get right with it, feel comfortable being at Georgia and just put in the hard work, man, because the talent's there, and I think he'll be a superstar too. So Stacey Searles has got a loaded deck there in the offensive line room. So let's see what he does, man. A lot of pressure on that guy because the offense will be as good as the offensive line is. I think as good as that offensive line gels, injury-free, and as good as it plays, the sky is the limit for this whole entire offensive group, Clark. Carson Beck. You want to talk about him a little bit?
Let's do it. He had, and we've always seen his ability throwing it, but man, he looked really comfortable in the pocket. That was the thing I think that most impressed me, particularly that first pass he had to Arian Smith. I mean, it was a 40, 50-yard bomb. But man, the way he moved in the pocket is impressive. And it looks like he and Stetson are a lot more sure of themselves. They don't hesitate as much, especially Stetson. I think he's grown a ton since, October of last year. I think he has really started to settle down and figure out where he's wanting to go with the ball.
That's
right. But Carson, same thing. Strong arm,
rocket
a
arm,
lot
man.
of ability. It's interesting. I don't know what's going to happen, what's going to shake up, but I think the trust. I think the team has all bought into Stetson.
Oh, of course,
and not only his story, but just his ability to make plays on the field. So.
And Carson Beck's no pushover, man. I mean, the hats off to that guy. The leaps and bounds he's made since he's been in Athens. Strong NFL talent arm. I'll go ahead and say it. Has got some zip on the ball. Opened up his offensive series for the second team offense with a deep downfield pass to Arian Smith as well. And just a guy, it seems like he's getting more and more confident. And Brock Vandegrift, a guy, I think Carson Beck solidified his spot as a second string guy, and being in that race. And then Brock Vandegrift, a guy who's in his second year in Athens, he looked good, very mobile, great legs, So, and Gunnar Stockton, the early enrollee freshman, highly touted quarterback. I mean, a lot of embarrassment of riches everywhere, Clark, like we've talked about. But in the quarterback room, there definitely is too. So I think we're in good hands there, and we'll just see what happens. We'll see what happens. But the big thing on the offense and the defense side of the football, Clark, is what we saw the other night. We saw 15 guys go to the NFL draft, and not only were they just talented, but those were your leaders. Those were your team leaders right there, Clark. And some guys have got to step in and fill those roles up. When you have good team leadership, that is the reason why. I mean, obviously you got to have talent, but the missing ingredient to a lot of talented teams that don't get to that ultimate goal is the leadership and the chemistry, the maturity of making the right decisions, keeping everybody accountable to put in the work that's needed to get to that ultimate goal, Clark. And we lost a lot of guys that were valuable in that aspect, and they left a good example of what to do. Now it's just time for those guys, some of these guys step up and say, hey, I'm going to take that role. This is my team now. Let's go.
Yeah, and I think those 15 guys that you're mentioning, they learned from really great
yes,
the Monty Rices, the Roquans, those kind of guys.
The Nick Chubbs, the Sony Michelle's, everybody. Yes.
And so I think now the culture has truly changed. It's evolved. And I hope we don't see a drop off. I don't think we will. And I just hope we don't see a drop off in leadership this year or any year to come. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think Kirby knows how to develop leaders, and that whole coaching staff does.
Right.
But not only that, but like I said, these young guys, they've seen what these veteran guys do, how they conduct business, how they go in to reps, and their mentality. And during games, when you're down, How do you face adversity? When you're going into halftime and you're down whatever amount of points, which we weren't down much this year. But how do you respond in those situations? So that's a really good point. The example they set.
After 6 full seasons now in Athens, Kirby Smart, the Georgia standard now has been set. And you're not going to be a part of this program. You could transfer out easily now if you're not going to buy into that, Clark. So all we need is for people just to continue just to lead that standard, teach these young talented guys what it's going to be, and develop those good habits. And I think the sky's the limit for this football team. Obviously, there's going to be some growing pains. I think every fan should expect that. But because there's a lot of guys lost. I mean, there's no two ways around it. I mean, it's unbelievable the guys that have lost, the talents that's lost. But, you know, instead of rebuilding, you reload. And I think this group truly is reloading, Clark. And it's just growing up, maturity, just getting in some in-game situations, getting comfortable. And there's still some great guys, veteran guys that were a big part of the team last year that are going to help some of these younger guys coming in, filling these positions on what we need to get going in Athens then. So, but yeah, the offense, Clark, Todd Monken coming back for another year. Finally, it seems like we got some stability at the offense coordinator spot for the first time in the Kirby era. And, you know, you get Mike Bobo back in there as an analyst role. So,
Brian
Brian McClendon coming back, a veteran guy, you know, and then Dale McGee sticking around. Stacey Searles is a guy who's coached a lot of offensive line.
Hartley.
Really did a good job in Northcote. Todd Hartley. I mean, tip your hat to him, what he's done in the tight end room. It's a good group, and it's the blueprint now of how to be successful in college football. And Kirby has learned that, obviously, from his time in Tuscaloosa when Saban changed the game by bringing in all these analysts and extra coaches and guys like that. And the talent's there, everything's there. And I also think the offense, Clark, could be what the defense was last year to this team. I mean, the defense is going to be good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the defense is going to be bad whatsoever, but I'm saying this team could easily average over 40 points on the offense side of the football. Easily. I mean, I don't see a game where they shouldn't score more than 40 on the regular season.
Yeah. And there's no way in heck that our defense is going to give up 40 to anybody this year, even Alabama. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the defense side of the ball. And what on that Saturday did you see out of the defense?
You know, I really, and I think, look, I love Jordan Davis and I love Devontae White, but I'm telling you, I think Jalen Carter, I think this kid is a stud and could potentially surpass them. I'm not necessarily talking about stats or whatever, just the production on the field. I think he is a monster. He's an animal. He's hungry. He is going to be one of those leaders, hopefully, on that defensive line. And, you know, Jalen has a lot of ability and 100% going to be a first-round pick in my eyes next year. But before that happens, you know, he's got to go out there and just destroy offensive linemen. Which I think he has the ability to do. And he's shown that he showed that last year. He has a very quick first step, a lot of power and force, and so
I think he's a guy, Clark, who will be a top 5 NFL draft pick next year. I think he will be the second defensive player off the board. I mean, I'll be honest, I think Will Anderson at Alabama will be the first, but I think Jalen Carter's right there, and I think Nolan Smith will be high up there as well. And those are two guys who I think are going to step up into that leadership role that Jordan Davis and the Kobe's left behind. Nolan's already doing that. And guys that you like to see, that's what I like about the defense coming back, Clark, is you got playmakers from every level of the defense that was on that historic team last year coming back. Jalen Carter on the defensive line, the linebacker spot, Nolan Smith coming back, Christopher Smith coming back in the secondary on the back end. So you got guys that you can be the natural leaders of their position groups, Clark, and get some of these young pups, kind of in gear and learning the Georgia standard. And there's a lot of guys coming back, Clark, that been in the program a long time who kind of had to be called upon last year to make an impact. The Robert Bills of the world, the William Pools. I think they're coming back. William Poole, he played some cornerback. He was opposite side of Keely Ringo of G-Day. He was a guy who I think did a really, really good job in the national championship game. And I think some of the confidence from how he played at the star nickelback position in the national championship hopefully can carry over in the cornerback role. He's a guy who's seen a lot of college football, been around a long time, and I think a guy who will make the best of that opportunity. But there's a lot of young studs there that could overtake him as well.
True.
Nyland Green, Javon Bullard, Kamari Lassiter did not play. He was sick that day, but I mean, I'd look out for Nyland Green. I mean, I think that kid's special. In the secondary, you got Tyke Smith coming back, a guy who had a really good season at West Virginia the year before he transferred here. And he, of course, was hurt last year. Got hurt, I believe, in the Auburn. Well, hurt before in preseason, and then got re-injury around the Auburn game.
Right.
And I think he is a guy that be another veteran guy you could add there who will be kind of in the star role. Dan Jackson is a guy who give the man a scholarship, Clark.
Absolutely.
Get him back on. So he was back there with Chris Smith in the secondary. And, a guy, a lot of people are saying that might be a problem. We need to plug somebody in there. Well, I don't know, Clark. I think he played pretty solid. I mean, there was one game that I think everybody in the secondary got torched that it might have been exposed.
Right.
And I think everybody did in that December SEC championship game against Alabama.
We got exposed that game.
We got exposed that game. Row 60 got exposed. Everybody did. Yeah. But hey, we came back and actually punched him in the mouth. So a guy who's just all heart and just talented guy too. And see him back there. But you got guys like Malachi Starks, early enrollee freshman coming in too. That'll be good. And I don't know. There's a lot of young guys in the secondary that we've got to learn. We got to see go through that. It wouldn't surprise me if some of these young early enrollee guys, true freshman guys this fall, have significant playing time in the secondary, Clark. Guys, also, talent and linebacker spots filling some voids, Clark. I don't know, man. You got some guys like Tresman Marshall, who I think will be a stud. Jalen Walker is somebody who I'm really high on and think he will be a freak. And then Jamin Dumas-Johnson. Played some last year. I think a guy who will fill the void as well. I think, there was a little bit, some stuff they said, but it was spring game. The one thing, if there was a weakness pointed out in the spring game, and, you never know to think, is the offense just that good? Is the defense, both of them got to improve in ways. It's just a spring, too. But was covering running backs out in the flat. Inside linebacker. You're missing some guys who were really fast to the football last year. But these guys are talented, and there's no doubt they're going to get there. And
I think that just comes with snaps. I mean, that's just as much as that is a speed thing covering running backs, it's an awareness thing. It's being able to react at the snap of the ball and see that running back, start going out to the flat. So then that just takes time. So they're going to learn it. I feel really, really good with where we're at on both sides of the ball. Even defense losing what we did in the draft.
So. Yeah. So it's talent. There's talent there. There's not like what we've seen in the past. You just plugging in somebody because you got to, because you're low on guys. There's guys who are SEC high-end caliber guys at every position group who could play. It's just if they're going to put in the time, put in the effort, buy in to go get that spot. They're up for grabs everywhere. The linebacker spot, in the secondary, the defensive line. Trey Scott's got guys there that are going to be big. Zion Logue, Warren Brinson, Bill Norton, Chaz Chambliss. We talked about, him. He was the guy, the high motor that we really like. And I think I cannot pronounce his name. I never have been. Tyrion Ingram Dawkins is a guy who I think who could play the Devontae White type role. Okay. I think a guy who is a very good Nazir Stackhouse. He will be back as well. And I don't know, man. I've tried to jot a little bit of notes down here of what I saw. Adam
has a bunch of notes.
Yeah, that's from all over the season.
That's from the national championship season, Adam.
Yeah, it is.
Some of these
championship season.
We need to frame those.
So yeah. So when I think about it, I try to jot it down, from but there's a lot to learn about this group coming in, man. Yeah. And I don't know. I'm excited about it. The talent's there, and there's going to be growing pains, without a doubt. But there's no doubt that this defense will be good, just like the rest of the ones in the Kirby Smart area. So.
I agree.
I'm excited. Let's get to it, baby.
Yes, sir.
Woo!
All right, let's talk about the NFL draft this past weekend.
Yes.
Just an amazing outing for the Dogs. Historic, truly. We set several records. The first being we had 15 players selected for the 2022 NFL draft. That is the most in history out of all the FBS teams and FCS. It doesn't matter.
Alabama hadn't done it.
Nope. I think they've come close, but
they didn't. But they hadn't. They hadn't.
And here's the craziest thing about it, Adam: 15 players from Georgia. Now you could throw in Jermaine Johnson, who was a first-round pick from Florida State. You could. Yeah. Kirby did.
There was some time.
Recruit him.
Well, it's crazy he couldn't get on the field in Athens. That's how talented it was.
Exactly.
And then you can throw in Adam Anderson, who would have been a first-round pick. Easy. Had that not happened, but decisions have consequences, Scott. That's we'll just leave it at that. So go on.
And then you had Cade Mays, who started at Georgia for 2 years, and then transferred to Tennessee. He got drafted as well. So now, if you go by that, then you couldn't say Darion. So really, it'd be about 16 players that Kirby brought in to the program and then sent to the NFL, which is just crazy. 15 players. That's more than some conferences, I think.
Oh, without a doubt, Clark. I mean, what he has done has been unreal. And we talked about this earlier, was the two biggest knocks like that what Dabo would give on the trail. Some of these guys who were negatively recruiting these guys going to Georgia and playing under Kirby Smart in the past was, he could get in all these guys, but they can't win the big one. They can't win the national championship. And the players aren't developed with, high first-round NFL draft picks. Well, in the past 4 to 5 months, that narrative, both of those narratives have been destroyed as big as you could do it, Clark. And something that's not going to slow down. That was the biggest recruiting just huge statement, exactly the word I'm looking for. You're right. That you can make was what happened in the NFL draft this past weekend, Clark. Did you watch it? Did you watch the first round? I got fired up, man. I went to the new Mexican restaurant and got me a to-go order. Got me a big cheese dip. I said, I'm blowing it out. Going to get my TV table set up, get fired up to see it, because at the time, nobody knew if it was going to be Trayvon or Aiden Hutchinson. Right. So I celebrated like it was a game when they called Trayvon's name, so it was great. It was great.
Look, I think the guy's a good player, and I'm sure he's an okay guy. But Aiden Hutchinson, he just kind of rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah, I'm not an Aiden Hutchinson fan.
I'm just glad, we got a dog in there in that first.
He's always going to hate Georgia.
Oh,
Georgia ended his college career and then ended his chances of being the number 1 NFL draft pick.
Yes.
But hey, he's not going to be too sad. He probably made about $40 million. But I'd take it. I'd take it. I'd be the number 2 pick in the NFL draft.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Trayvon and number 1 overall picks, Georgia is now tied for the most number 1 overall picks with USC, Oklahoma, and Notre Dame. All of those teams, including Georgia, have five first overall picks. That's crazy.
That's a huge number to have, and that's some big blue bloods in that statement. Then Clark, the last one we had was Matthew Stafford in the 2009 draft. So that's exciting. Man.
I can't remember.
I can't remember that either. That's stumping. That's a good trivia question right there, Clark. But had to be back in the day. But I'm excited for Trayvon, man. Who would you have ever guessed, Clark? We were talking just a couple months ago after the national championship, Trayvon Walker would be the number 1 NFL draft pick.
Well, and a lot of it has to do with who ends up getting that first pick,
right?
Which Jacksonville needed, I guess, a defensive guy, defensive end, and so they got him. But so I know I don't know if I could sit here and say Trayvon was going to be the guy just because I didn't know where Jacksonville was going to.
Well, I didn't think no matter what he'd be up that. I mean, I knew he was a freak athlete. He was going to be a guy that would be a steal, but I guess just the combine pro day, just the numbers that just blew up, with that size, that speed, and what people don't understand. And Mel Kiper. Mel Kiper rubs me the wrong. Let me talk about Mel Kiper. He's a buffoon. Clark.
Wow. Mel Kiper is a buffoon. Adam Thornton, April or May 1st, 2022.
I used to kind of like old Mel back in the day. I miss the old Radio City music hall in New York from our childhood NFL drafts when Mel Kiper on the set back before, when he might have had natural black hair and he didn't have to use hair dye back then. When he was on the set, that's kind of my childhood when the draft started on Saturdays at lunch, and back in them days, kind of miss that. And instead of the hoopla now. Yeah. But Mel Kiper talking about Georgia, I did not appreciate kind of the way he was talking about. But these guys were talented and they were recognized and they were drafted. But some of these guys in the NFL are going to be used different than what they were in Kirby Smart's defense. So with the talent running around the field, Trayvon might not. Everybody was talking about he only had 9 sacks in his career.
But you got to look at the bigger picture, and that's what I feel like people who don't actually watch football the right way. No, I'm not talking about Mel Kiper. I'm just talking about your general.
I'm talking
Facebook.
about Mel Kiper.
Well, yeah, I mean, but golly, you got to look at how we used Trayvon. And it wasn't just your traditional, all right, just rush the quarterback every time, and he was rotated so much with everybody else because you had 5 defensive guys go in the first round, which is also an NFL record.
I mean, yeah, and the guys, I mean, and then also, too, this is something, talking about Devontae White, Jordan Davis, and Trayvon Walker, I mean, 3 guys that were drafted in, the first round, Clark?
Right.
So, tip of the hat to a guy that a majority, that I've said this before, Clark, and I'm going to keep saying that a majority of the Georgia fan base needs to apologize to, Clark, and that is Coach Trey Scott.
Yep.
Just a couple years ago, people were like, when are we going to start seeing defensive line development like Brett Venables has at Clemson with those guys, or Alabama has? Like, we just don't have these elite interior defensive linemen or rush edge guys like Clemson has, Alabama has. We'll win national championships when we get a coach in here that can recruit and bring in these guys and, not miss on some of these guys that we just pitched a fit about missing on, like back in the day. But Trey Scott got these guys in. Not all of them are just 5-star studs, Clark. They developed in Athens and got to where they're now millionaires, being drafted in the first round, and a guy who deserves a lot of credit, Clark, Trey Scott.
Absolutely.
One thing now, I think the train has just started to roll with the pedigree of Georgia defensive linemen that are coming through the program now, and it's not going to slow down, Clark. And that's something that I think was a black cloud over the Georgia fan base, like many other things that was just ripped apart this year, was the lack of defensive line studs development that we wanted to see, that these other championship programs we were wanting to get to had, but that has been developed. We're there, and we have surpassed them.
Yeah, I agree. You
know, one thing, and then it'll change next year because Will Anderson will be in there and probably some other guys. But I want to say this is right. Now, this is off the top of my head, but I think Nick Saban, since Kirby left after the 2016 or 2015 season, has only had 3 defensive players drafted in the first round. In the first round of the NFL draft.
That's
and
crazy.
You think back to the days before that, pre-2015, 08 to 15 Alabama defensive studs who went in the first round.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, I mean, obviously Nick Saban has been successful still without Kirby Smart. But, some of that, but a lot of it's been because of the offensive side of the football when Saban changed. But I'm just saying, that just shows, Kirby, that he couldn't develop, but hey, man, he's got it rolling now. And he's such a knowledgeable guy on the defensive side of the football, and he's brought in guys who he demands the standard to, and it's just loaded. It's a position group coaches just loaded of guys who can develop talent and bring in talent, and it's just a cycle, man. You come in, and the narrative now is you come to Georgia, you work hard, you buy in, you'll win championships, and you'll get paid and get drafted.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you can't ask for any better now as a high school recruit.
Exactly.
I love it, baby.
Speaking of Devontae White, him and Quay Walker both were drafted to the Packers. This is a little fun fact. This is the first time in the common draft era that 2 defensive players from the same school, Georgia, were taken in the first round by the same team, Green Bay. So that's another fun fact. And then last but not least, I think Trey Hartley actually tweeted this. This is the 4th.
Todd Hartley did.
Yeah. Who'd I say?
Trey Hartley.
Trey Hartley? I'm thinking Trey Scott, Todd Hartley.
I'm sorry.
I messed you up.
Yeah, Todd Hartley. I butchered some names this episode, so don't worry.
Anyway, he tweeted, this is the 4th straight draft that a tight end has been drafted from Georgia. And I'm going to tell you something. That number is going to go to at least 6.
Yeah.
At least. Or 7, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, you think about it. Next year, Eric Gilbert probably would be eligible for the draft. What that be? Yeah, because he was a freshman in 20.
Darnell, too,
20,
right?
And Darnell would. And Bowers will still have another year. Thank the Lord. He's come back to Athens again after next year. But he would be.
Bowers, and then
I'll be honest with you. If he could come out, I think he would have been a first-round pick this year. After his true freshman. I truly believe that he would have been. But yeah. So it's going to continue just to go. I mean, it's unbelievable. Yeah. Unbelievable. But yeah, we mentioned Jordan Davis going to Philadelphia. The Quay Walker and Devontae White going to Green Bay together. It speaks volumes, that fact you had there.
Yeah. Let's just quickly run through each
make a
draft
quick comment.
Draft
make a quick comment on
quick comment.
A little show appreciation, because
exactly.
This is our wind down show on this group, so to speak. We're putting the bow on it. We're putting a pin in this group.
Yep. First taken off the board, Trayvon Walker going to Jacksonville. Great talent. I think it's going to do wonders.
Surprise, a freakish, God-given athletic ability. Poor franchise in Jacksonville. Yeah. I just hope that he could star there and make a name for himself.
Yep.
Or, and kind of overcome the obstacles of being a Jacksonville Jaguar football player in the NFL. Poorly run franchise, second Second number 1 overall draft pick in 2 years.
Wow.
So,
Dang,
but congratulations to him, man.
Yeah,
That's great. I just, hope the NFL career pans out good for him.
Go get paid.
That's right.
Jordan Davis going to Philadelphia. He's going to be an Eagle. Hopefully he can stay at that weight. I think he's at 340.
Yeah.
I think they need to keep him there. And man, he's just going to plug holes and be a nightmare for an offensive line.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, but what else can you say? I mean, Philadelphia, I feel like it's a good organization. So hopefully he'll continue just to shine there. I know a knock on him was they would say that he would take plays off pass rusher. So, but I don't know. But that's just what they said.
Well, I'd like to see
draft.
one. I'd like to see
Mel Kiper try to go full speed every single. I mean, you should. We're not encouraging taking plays off by any stretch, but we're not going to bash Jordan Davis, man. Awesome. I mean, good job. What, 13th overall?
Yeah, boom, something like that. Quay Walker going to Green Bay. That was kind of an interesting. I didn't really personally. I didn't really expect him to go first round, but hey. That's good. I'm glad he did. And I think he'll be, he may develop into
he'll be a
Alec Ogletree kind of.
Oh yeah, I mean he'll be better than Alec Ogletree in the NFL. But Ogletree's still in the league, and I believe last time I checked, and he's Quay Walker is a guy who I just freakish athletic ability. When him and Channing Tindall came in to Georgia, highly sought after middle linebacker recruits, and I mean, obviously seeing the development they've had in their years in Athens and both getting drafted, huge.
Yep.
Huge. So that's awesome, man.
Devontae Wyatt is going to join them in Green Bay too. They got two dogs.
So that was the third first-round pick Green Bay has made by taking a defensive Georgia player in 2 years. Eric Stokes went last year.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
that's a good one.
We might start cheering for the old Packers.
Yeah, well, I mean, we share the same logo, just different colors.
Yeah.
I do think they had the Power G before we
did, but that's okay. Who cares?
Ours looks better.
It does look better. It does look better.
They need to change their logo to just a wedge of cheese, like cheddar cheese.
I agree.
I think that'd be more fitting.
I think it would too.
Oh man! All right, Lewis Seen going to Minnesota. Adam, out of all the players on this 2021 defense, I think Lewis may have been my favorite just because I just liked it. I don't know. Very high IQ. He flew to the football at that safety position. He made some huge plays.
He wasn't afraid to put his hat on the ball and just stick his head in there and really make a play. It was like he was never scared of anything. My last memory of Lewis Seen will be absolutely destroying Kyle Pitts in 2020 in Jacksonville.
Oh, dude!
I mean, just killed him.
We heard that hit from the top deck.
Well, of course, nobody was in the stadium at that game, but I mean, we heard it.
Oh my
gosh. It killed him.
Yeah, I mean. Whew.
But just a guy who's quick to the football. I mean, just very high football IQ. And man, I'll be honest, a guy I didn't think would get drafted in the first round.
Really?
But that's exciting. I mean, just another notch in the secondary development under Kirby Smart's belt. So I mean, it's great. Get on Lewis.
Next taken was George Pickens going to Pittsburgh. Adam, I know we are both high on this kid, especially in the NFL. I mean, obviously he did wonders at Georgia. I wish he could have stayed healthier at Georgia. But, man, I think and Pittsburgh's really known to kind of develop these just freak receivers. I mean, think about Juju Schuster-Smith and then Antonio Brown. I'm sure there are others.
I think he'll be a Plaxico Burress type for those of you who remember Plaxico and Pittsburgh back in the day. I think he'll be a guy if he can find somebody that'll get the ball to him. Roethlisberger's gone. Dwayne Haskins, rest in peace. But you got, I don't know, I guess Mitch Trubisky and then Kenny Pickett. That's who they picked up, the hometown guy. Yeah. One of those guys, if they could plug in there and get the ball to George, I think he'll be solid. And Pittsburgh is an organization, of course, that's a staple in the NFL. A guy who's been a long-tenured head coach there, Mike Tomlin, I think will be a guy who will be very good for George Pickens and developing, just getting, and as a player and a man. And I think George Pickens will make a lot of money, have a long career in the NFL. And I'll just go ahead and say it, Clark, I think he will wind up being, when you look back at this historic draft class, who had the most successful NFL career? Clark, I think it's going to be George Pickens. I know that might be crazy, and I mean, there's a lot of guys on there you could choose and not be wrong, but I'm going with George Pickens, man.
Yeah. Well,
he can stay healthy.
I think I'll go with you. I think you're right. I think you're dead on. He's going to make some noise in the NFL.
Yeah.
Next taken, James Cook going to Buffalo. Shout out
to Rich Beck. Our loyal listener and diehard Buffalo Bills fan from Buffalo, New York.
Yeah.
Rich Beck.
I'm sure he's fired up about that pick. And James Cook, he's going to be great in that backfield. They love they have a lot of, I feel like, just high power, explosive players like James Cook.
You know, James Cook would be a guy, Clark, that he's good. We've talked about it before. A guy who is good in the passing game as well. Get out in the flats, and you got a quarterback like Josh Allen who could get the ball to you in a hurry, and a high dynamic offense that they have in Buffalo. I think they're getting a new offense coordinator this year, Brian DeBall, who used to be Saban's offense coordinator in Alabama. Got the Giants head coaching job, right?
Yeah.
So he won't be there, but when you got the talent guy, quarterback like Josh Allen, and where that franchise is right now, I think it's going to be a very good match for James Cook to continue to grow and get better, and put up some numbers in the league, man, just like his brother. So shout out for him, man. I've really enjoyed his time at Georgia and what he did, but that's great. Good on him.
Third round. $2 were taken. The first, Nakobe Dean going to Philadelphia.
Wow.
Adam, this, I'm telling you, was the biggest shock to me, and I know a lot of other dogs out there, I'm sure to you. I don't quite understand it. I guess from what I've heard, just the rumors that, he had some pec injury or shoulder injury that held him back. And he also didn't do much in the combine.
I don't think he ran the 40 either. And on my, I know like guys like probably with Trayvon Walker, what he did in the combine probably catapult him more so. But man, I think there's a difference in running the 40 and game speed.
Right.
And all you can do is just look at the tape of Kobe Dean, one of those first, possessions in the Orange Bowl where Donovan Edwards was in the flats. I forgot if it was a little screen pass or a toss sweep or whatever. I think it was a little pass sweep. What's the word I'm looking for? A little swing pass. Swing pass to the outside. It might have been. I don't know. But anyway, he was in the flats. Nobody was around him. Nakobe Dean came from the opposite side of the field, just like a bullet, Clark. Yep. And I think a guy who's going to be a NFL running back in Edwards and made it look easy getting to him and the angle he took there and made plays like that all year. And I think a guy who's a gamer, I think a guy who has his head on his shoulders, a smart guy, a guy who could be the quarterback of the defense and somebody who will do really, really good in Philadelphia. It's going to be a steal of the draft, whatever happened to make him fall what it was. Hey, he's drafted. Probably, I think he's going to wind up getting about $5 million that first. And it's all about getting that second contract, Clark.
Right.
And the opportunities there. That's like with the opportunity, there's disappointment, I guess. I don't know. I've never been an NFL prospect by any means. Never thought I would be. But I'd imagine it is disappointing if you don't go where you are. But and lo and behold, you have got to be able to have that mindset of, hey, you're there. You got the opportunity. Let's get to that second contract and really get paid.
Yeah, and I mean, he's going to get a second contract because of his leadership and his just ability to rally people. I mean, you think back to that national championship game with Channing Tindall. Herbstreit called it out, got Channing Tindall. They made a big play the next play. So Nakobe, shout out to him. He should have been first round. Yeah, but hey. I'm sure he's going to use this as fuel.
He will.
And it's going to catapult him to that second contract like you're talking about.
And I think, Clark, for all the Georgia fans out there who go back a few years, they remember Rennie Curran, a guy who was a, very high IQ linebacker, I felt like. I had a good head on his shoulders, let's say that. And was a really good player at Georgia. I think Nakobe is better than Rennie Curran was. But he was picked, I think, 93rd overall in the third round. Nakobe was what, 83rd, 87th, something like that, 87th maybe, and he played about 5-6 years in the league. Rennie did, and I think Nakobe's better. I think the potential there is better. So I think that'll be a guy who I think he'll have a good career in the NFL. Get that second contract, and this fall in the draft will all be water under the bridge. And but he's got that mindset and that ability that he's not going to sulk, be upset. He's going to go and get the work and prove everything wrong with a chip on his shoulder.
That's it,
and do it, man. So good man. Congrats to Nakobe. That's great.
Yeah. Also taken in the third round was Channing Tindall.
Another middle linebacker.
Going to Miami.
Unreal.
I know. And I tell you, Adam, I think this may be the most underrated player on this defense. Channing has that same speed, very, very quick, very good awareness. Same thing, he didn't have a ton of numbers, but you look at his impact on the field, and there's no denying he is a great player.
He is, Clark. One of my last memories I'll have of Channing Tindall will be in the national championship. Alabama was driving down the field, and they were in Georgia's red zone. And I believe, to get Georgia red zone, Channing had some blown coverage or something, and the Kobe came out there and just chewed him out. Like, just said, "Come on, we're back." And then Channing answered the next time. He sacked Bryce Young.
Like, just shot out of a cannon.
Huge third down.
That forced a field goal.
Shot out of a cannon, and stopped them right there. And then if they score right there and get a touchdown right there, who knows what transpires. But that was a big swing of momentum to stop them, and that was because he made Bryce Young look like a rag doll when he chased him down like that. But that just speaks volumes about that team. The Kobe knew how Channing reacted, got to him. Channing is a guy who he didn't get mad at Kobe sulk about it. He said, "Well, all right, here we go." Got motor, then bam. That shows it in both of them right there. Third round NFL draft picks and awesome. Get a chance to live out their dream.
Right. Fourth round, Zamir Zeus going to Las Vegas. He's going to be a Raider. Great pick. I think. I don't know how long he'll last in the league. I'm sure. I hope he has a very long and fruitful career. With running backs these days, they get worn out pretty quickly in the league. But I don't even know much about Las Vegas' offense other than what's his name isn't there anymore, is he?
Gruden? No, he's not. He's not there anymore.
Dang, I forgot about that.
Yeah, Derek Carr is a good guy, good quarterback. They made the playoffs for the first time in a while last year, I believe. And I think Zamir White, man, for what he's gone through, the adversity he's fought through with the ACL injuries, just the setbacks, and then just continuing to keep the attitude of he wasn't going to stay down, wasn't going to sulk, went back to work, just kept grinding. And, a kid that's got a head on his shoulders, it appears like. Awesome that he's got a chance that he got drafted in the fourth round. I almost thought there might be a chance he didn't get drafted. Honestly, I thought that, but especially in the fourth round, that's great. And a guy who I think could be a third down back in the NFL. The NFL likes to use a lot of third down backs. A guy who short yardage situation get the ball to. Maybe that will prolong his career some if he gets that role. Clark. And I don't know, man. I think it's good for him and a guy. I hope he can stay healthy and continue but he's got the work ethic to do it and put it in. He's proved it at Georgia with how he faced adversity. So awesome for him.
Yeah. Next off the board, Jake Camarda, a punter going the fourth round. That's crazy.
That is
going to Tampa Bay. Shout out to my good friend McKay Smith. I think he's actually really fired up about that.
Well, good. Good.
Hey, Jake Camarda, what else can you say? The kid, he has a leg.
Yeah.
He has a freaking leg and he can bomb it. And not only that, but he can control where he kicks it. And that's something that I'm sure these NFL scouts look at. They want a guy who can put it within the 10 and get it down to that point. So
and Jake Camarda, that's something we didn't talk about. He's a guy who's a weapon, the flipping field position for us, and did really good for us the years he was here. And we lose Cameron Nizelak, who did a good job in that 2017 season. Like, well, where are we going to go? Well, Camarda comes in, we don't skip a beat. He continues to improve as he goes into an elite punter and a weapon. And hope Brett Thorson, the Australian punter coming in, I believe that he just he comes in and he's got a big leg and can pick up right where Camarda left off. But being a punter, being drafted in the fourth round by Tampa Bay is awesome, man. And it also getting selected by the Bucks ends the longest drought by a team that has not picked a dog. I think the last time Tampa Bay picked a Georgia player was in the 2002 draft. Tim Wansley, Jermaine Phillips.
Wow.
Two secondary guys there.
Good
so
gracious.
That's a long time. That's about 20 years there. So that ends that draft. So that drought. So good for Jake Camarda.
Yeah. Another drought ended, Adam, was Atlanta's. Atlanta hadn't picked up a dog, I think, since 2011.
Keem Dent, probably. Golly, dadgum. That's so frustrating. I'll never forget the night they drafted Vic Beasley.
Todd Gurley.
That infuriated
me. They lost a fan.
I'm telling you.
I had Atlanta pick Gurley over Vic Beasley. I would have had a Gurley Falcons jersey. I would have actually
you
cared.
Think about what it does for these guys, getting these hometown guys like Pittsburgh this year gets Kenny Pickett.
Right.
Guy who played at Pittsburgh. Very familiar with that. Aiden Hutchinson going to Detroit. Joe Burrow going, to Cincinnati there. And that does a lot for a fan base, an NFL fan base, wanting to expand their fan base is getting some of these guys who are hometown heroes in it and guys that they love here in their home state. So, but good that the Falcons got them, man.
Yeah, Justin Schaefer. I don't even know. I don't even know if I mentioned his name. Yeah, Justin Schaefer's going to Atlanta, and then Jamari Sawyer. This is crazy. Going to the Chargers, 6th round. What in the world? I mean, that to me was the biggest shock other than the Kobe.
Yeah.
Look, the kid gave up 1 sack, I think 2 quarterback pressures in his in the time that he started at Georgia. 1 sack. And it was against Will Anderson in the SEC championship game in garbage time.
That is unreal.
And the kid goes, I mean, he's a second team All-American this year. Just a heck of a leader. And look, I get it. He may be a little undersized for a tackle, but dadgum, take him as guard.
Well, he's a versatile guy.
Yeah.
And he proved that. He proved that what it could be. And he's a guy that I think Los Angeles stole. Absolutely stole there in the 6th round. And I think he's a guy who's going to have a good NFL career.
Yeah.
So
next off the board, Darion Kendrick. He's going to Los Angeles, but he is playing with the Rams.
Yeah, the Super Bowl champ's going to be out there with Stafford and Michelle and those guys then. So
God, a lot of dogs.
A lot of dogs there. Darion Kendrick, a guy, Clark, I really enjoyed having him in Athens. It was awesome to see him train in that just gaudy orange and purple and come across the lake to the good side, to the Lord's side, and be a dog this year and get a national championship with Georgia. The Orange Bowl will be my last memory of Darion Kendrick, Clark. 2 interceptions there, man. I mean, just an awesome performance. A guy who I think was really solid for us this year at the cornerback spot. And I'll always remember him and I'll always be thankful that he was a Georgia Bulldog.
Yes, sir.
Hope he tears it up in Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah. And then last but certainly not least, John Fitzpatrick, our 15th dog off the board, is also going to Atlanta.
Awesome.
Great tight end. You know, I don't know where he'll fall on the depth chart in Atlanta, but
I know they lost Hayden Hurst, who was one of their
Pitts, right?
Yeah. So and then they got Pitts, of course, and you know who's I don't know, man. I don't know. You consider him a traditional tight end role, kind of the slot receiver, what he kind of plays, but I don't know. I hope Fitzpatrick can get in there. He's got an opportunity, man, and he can say he was drafted in the NFL draft.
Exactly.
Whatever happens to John Fitzpatrick, I don't know the guy personally, Clark, but you just kind of get the feel that he's going to be successful in whatever he does.
There you go.
If the NFL doesn't work out,
he
can say he was drafted, put it on the plaque, put it on the national championship rings, put it in his office when he's selling insurance, a lot of insurance one day. If it doesn't work out, he'll be successful in whatever he does.
I tell you,
man,
I think any one of these 15 will be able to do that. And, you know, wherever they go as NFL players or whatever they decide to do in this life, man, they will always be revered as DGDs and I think national champions.
Good character guys.
Good, high character guys.
I think that's what led to their success from individually where they're at now and then collectively as a group and a team and what this Georgia team did last year. Yeah. And I think, you know, obviously talent, but what we preach, man, guys who got their head on their shoulder, guys who's got good work ethic, guys who just understand what they need to do, what the work they need to put in on a daily basis, and it paid off for them. Paid off.
I think that's just you know, a reflection of Kirby and this culture that he's built in Athens.
And that's a standard, and there's not going to be anything less than that.
Yeah. So why wouldn't you come to Georgia as a recruit? Reading all that we just read.
At this point, Clark, honestly, there's no reason why you should. I mean, you know, about a year ago, we were doing this a year ago, the things we did list, hadn't won a national championship, hadn't won the, you know, the draft pick, the development rumors, all that stuff, man. That's all flushed down the toilet now, Clark. That's all. I mean, he has completely been eliminated. There is nothing that you could say if you're a SEC coach or, you know, Florida State and Mike Norvell, Dabo Swinney, whoever is recruiting against Kirby can say negatively about him anymore. I mean, you can't. You can't. There is nothing. Yeah. And Kirby could go into every living room in the country with a guy and show him all of these guys, bring up the 5-minute segment that was on ESPN during draft day, just basically highlighting just a promo of Georgia football. And that was on there. Y'all go back and try to find it. It might be on the YouTube. And it's unreal, man, what he has done. And now he has got over the hump, the national championship. So you can say, hey, you're going to play for a national championship, you can win championships here at Georgia. And not only that, you'll get the exposure and play with guys who will make you better each and every day on both sides of the football and practice. Yeah. Get the development and the coaching to ultimately reach your goal. Look at this list of guys we have.
And, you know,
we're going to add to it next year.
Right. And it's one of those things where, look, Alabama in years past, they probably haven't had to say, hey, hey, Georgia, blah, 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 or Florida, blah, 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 or Auburn, blah, blah, blah. No, they just focus on themselves in these recruiting pitches.
Right.
Why? Because they've won championships and they've been doing this thing. They've been sending guys to the NFL. But that's what we're going to be able to start doing. We don't have to talk about Florida or Clemson or these inferior opponents. We don't have to anymore. We've got the evidence that, hey, you can come to Georgia, be a high character guy, succeed on the football field, off the football field, and dadgummit, we'll send you to the draft. There's a good chance if you do everything right, you'll get your name called.
Exactly, Clark. Now, what it was in the early years was let's build something special.
Yeah.
Let's go against the Alabama or I guess what Clemson kind of had there. Let's go against that, build our own thing, be different. It kind of was, I guess, a recruiting pitch, be a part of being the first to build it.
Right.
Now it's the program sells itself in the fact that, like you just said, you come here, you go to the NFL, you can compete for championships, and also you're going to be around the most talented guys in the nation, lining up against them every day in practice. That's only going to make you better, only going to get you where you want to be. That is where Georgia's at. Kirby Smart has gotten this program there. The program now sells itself, and it's not slowing down anytime soon, Clark.
I tell you, this may be a really bold statement. This may be a hot take, a knee-jerk reaction kind of thing. But I'm telling you, Adam, if there's one coach in America right now that's going to be able to take their team to the heights of where Alabama is, I'm talking dynasty, it's going to be Kirby.
Yeah, it will be. It's
going to be Kirby.
It will. I would say, Clark, I would venture to say that it would. I don't think we'll ever see anything quite like the Alabama run from that Saban's had over the past few years. But the closest it will come to it will be Kirby.
It will be Kirby. I agree.
Especially it would have happened pre-NIL. NIL might change the game a little bit, but Kirby will do like he has done and adapt to whatever he needs to do to get talent into athletes. And that's what he's done so good is change the game, is adapt to what he needs to do. Relentless work ethic, and there's no doubt Georgia will stay on top.
Right. And he learned how to adapt from the best. I mean, let's call it how it is. Nick Saban is the best college football coach of all time.
That's right. But
I'm glad to have the second best.
Yes. By the time Kirby leaves Athens, and he might just stay for another decade. I think 3 to 4 national championships, and on his resume at the end will be. And then as a Georgia fan, man, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. But definitely, I think a couple more is coming.
Yeah. Got a lot of work to do, and got to just keep, can't become complacent. And I know I've seen Kirby Smart.
He's not going to allow it.
Work ethic. He will not allow.
He's not going to allow
complacency. So, and he's not going to allow his coaches to allow it.
Yeah.
His staff, everybody around him.
The one thing I would like to see change with the game, kind of off subject, Clark, is I wish now it is so hard on these coaches, and maybe the possibility of burnout is more likely. Is you got to keep recruiting guys on your current roster, Clark.
Yeah.
From transferring now. That's hard. There's something that's got to be done to control it a little bit.
Right.
And then even also with the recruiting, to not let some of these great coaches who are gung-ho doing it to their fullest potential, it's humanistic. You're going to burn out of it over a few years of what it demands now. Is to give more dead periods in recruiting that people won't burn out completely from it. Maybe control a little bit of this NIL stuff. I mean, we're not going to get too deep on that, but control it a little bit, make it a little bit more manageable, because right now it's tough. It's tough on them, especially guys like Kirby who are, full swing with it. So, that's what I have to say about that. So.
Yeah. Well, Adam, let's briefly mention the upcoming season before we say see you later to our fans.
We're getting there. You think about it, man.
Yeah.
It's May.
It's May. Man. Hey, 122 days.
122 days from now, Mercedes-Benz Stadium against the Ducks.
Adam, let me ask you this. Who, of all the people on our current roster, who is your breakout player in 2022? Who's the player who's going to make noise and make the biggest impact?
I'm not going to say Brock Bowers, because I think it will be him, and that's just kind of a given. I think Kenny McIntosh will be a guy on offense that I think he'll give the bulk of the carries. I know somebody's screaming in their car or taking a jog or whatever. He's not even going to be the primary running back, because Kendall Milton will be, or somebody like that. But I think Kenny McIntosh will be the guy. I think he is a guy who will take James Cook's spot and catching balls out of the backfield. And I think a guy who's also a power runner like Zamir White was too, who can run between the tackles. I think it's a guy who is very versatile at the running back position, and a guy who has continued to grow each and every season at the University of Georgia and poised for one more good one.
Boom.
Kenny McIntosh,
Kenny Mac, I like
Boom.
it. That's a good one, Adam. I'm going to stay on the same side of the football. I'm going to say Arian Smith. I've been high on this kid. I know he has been snake bitten with the injury and stuff, but
I like it, Clark.
I really think this is going to be his year to shine, and I think we're going to see him blow by some corners, the second level, third level. And he's going to be what I think AD Mitchell was last year.
Yep.
And be that deep threat.
Yep.
So Arian Smith's my guy. And then let me ask you this last question.
Okay.
What is the game you're most excited for? I'm not talking about the biggest anticipated game.
Yeah.
But just the game.
Kind of under the radar, give a different little viewpoint what the fans need to be thinking about going into.
Yeah.
I'll start off. I'll say it's going to be South Carolina, Clark. First SEC game, going back to playing them in the first SEC game of the season. I think what I like about that game and what is always fun going to Columbia is the hype is going to be unreal there. Defending national champions coming into town. South Carolina always has just expectations that are just sky high. And they're a rival, Clark. They are a rival. I don't like South Carolina, but Shane Beamer, year 2, Spencer Rattler coming in. Williams-Brice will be rocking that day with high expectations. And Georgia coming in and just demolishing that will be fun to see. Will be fun. Putting them back in their place in the reality of they're still South Carolina and Georgia's premier program, not only in the SEC East, but in the nation as well.
Yeah.
So
watch out.
That'll be good.
Nice
I'm going
guy,
with
Shane.
South Carolina. Nice guy Shane Beamer. The images of nice guy Shane Beamer on the sidelines and Williams-Brice, South Carolina, on that hot September afternoon, Clark, is going to be hilarious at the end. I mean, it'll be one of we've seen shell-shocked coaches in the past go up against Kirby Smart, but the most shell-shocked, even more so, will be Shane Beamer with his year 2 team coming in at home in Columbia
with Spencer Rattler.
With Spencer Rattler against Georgia, who's lost all this, who's just lost everybody. It's going to be fun to watch. So circle that one, folks. Get ready for that one. Get the South Carolina hate filled up. Let's go.
I tell you, if there's one trap game, on this schedule, I think it's one of 2.
Yeah.
Do I think we're going to lose either of them? Not really. No. But I mean, any given Saturday.
Right.
I do think one of them is Mississippi State with Mike Leach.
Yeah.
You never know which Mike Leach
you never know.
Get.
Pirate. Yep.
But I'm actually the most nervous about the Kentucky game. At Kentucky, I think it's going to be rowdy. I think they could potentially, I know they've lost some too, but I think they could potentially be in the same kind of what am I trying to say here?
Kind of scenario,
same kind of scenario as it has been in the past, like 2018
up there,
really last year.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to get that same kind of game. It may be close for a half, and then hopefully we'll just pull away. But I will say, Kentucky, Kroger Field now, it can get a little rowdy. Yeah,
especially November cold and night. Clark, that's a good call, man. I think Kentucky, they got us. Levis, Will Levis coming back at quarterback. They lose their offense coordinator, Liam Cohn, and went the Rams' offense coordinator. And, Mark Stoops has built a respectable program there. I think the expectations are high this year in Kentucky, but you're right. And it'll be like, we've kind of took that place where Alabama has been over the past decade. All the festivities coming in. Get the parades going. Everybody getting juice, coming back to the home when Georgia comes to town. Everybody getting excited, starting to think about what they're going to do after we beat Georgia, all this stuff. And then it just come to a crash. And just the adrenaline level that was so sky high just sinks down, and you're in deep pits after the realization hits that you're not as good as Georgia and Kirby Smart's football program. And for Kentucky to have that happen again, because they've experienced it so many times, it'll just be deja vu. And the demoralization of the Kentucky Wildcat fan base in late November when they get beat by Georgia. It's going to be great. But Mississippi State will be an interesting game. You never know. Are they going to light it up against us? Probably not. Or we could beat them by 42 points. I don't know. It'll be interesting. It's a toss-up for sure. So that's a good call as well.
Oh, man. Well, Adam, I think that puts a bow on this season.
Tie it up.
It's a feather in our cap now.
Fun one.
We want to say thank you to everyone who has made this journey possible.
That's right.
We want to thank you for joining in on this community. We're going to grow this community, and hopefully y'all can help us. Spread the word. Hey, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah,
that does help a lot. We'll actually post it on Facebook and Instagram with your name and everything. Check out our store. We've got some new things in the works, new merch coming up, maybe some new videos,
some ideas coming up.
and then, like Adam said earlier, new set is on its way.
This will be the last show that you watch for all our YouTube listeners on there. That you see that our traditional set that we've had since the second show after we did the first one in your kitchen. Since the second show, then the third show we modified a little bit. So I guess the past 22 episodes we've had this set. It will be no longer. We're going to move on to the next one to start season 2.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all be on the lookout. We'll be keeping y'all posted. Message us. Tell us how your summer's going.
Yeah.
Tell us how you feel about the dogs.
Yeah.
Hey, get the community riled up. It's going to be great.
Hey, shout out right quick. I forgot about this earlier. Hunter Wyatt.
Yeah.
Hunter Wyatt is a dog from Charleston, South Carolina, made a 4.5-hour drive to come to G-Day.
Awesome.
We got to shake his hand, talk to him for about 10 minutes. Great guy.
Well,
we just want to say thank you for stopping by. Hey, and next year, if you're coming to a game,
come tailgate with us.
Come tailgate with us. Come see us at Section 108, Row 60. We would love to see you. We're hard to miss. We're standing up on the bleachers pretty much the entirety of the game.
That's right.
And we're barking.
That's right.
If you can't find us, just listen for a good
We
bark.
want to meet everybody out there. We want to get to know y'all. Y'all are our friends. Even if we haven't met you yet, we still consider you our friends.
The friend of the show.
That's right. The good friend of the show. So I love it, man. So I can't wait to just meet some guys and everything, guys and girls. So it's exciting, Clark. It's been a memorable 25 episodes, man.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we could go back one day and just talk about which one was our favorite episode to record and do.
Yeah.
But it was a good season, and I hope everybody has a blessed summer. We will be back during the summer. It's not like we're going to come back like right before the game. Because we're going to get the format going. We got to prep. We'll do the season preview, but we got some stuff going on. Not a lot of stuff happening right now in the next couple months, so we're going to leave y'all to it. Y'all be blessed, baby. Go Dogs!
Go Dogs! Ooh, 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 ooh.